Hi everybody, Kevin McNamara here. Welcome to the Inspired Healing Podcast. This is a podcast for those of you looking to change your lives, get out of your comfort zones and reach your full potential. I talk about the Stoics and the Stoic stories and quotes from people like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca and Epictetus. I explain how they relate to your life today and how they can help you change your life for the better. It's kind of the 5-minute Stoic for personal development. And please support our sponsors, Prostate Plus. If you're a man and you want to shrink your prostate, Prostate Plus are the best supplements you can get. I use them myself to keep my prostate fit and healthy. And milfan.com, the world's best food delivery service. Links are in the show notes below. Now let's go inside. Hey everybody, it's Kev here. Welcome to the Inspired Healing Podcast. And today I'll continue my, I guess you'd call it a bit of a tribute to David Goggins, someone who's inspired me greatly over the last couple of years, as I've mentioned before. I did my first marathon last year thanks to his inspiration, and also my 100-day running challenge, which I've just completed recently. I certainly attribute a lot of that motivation and inspiration to him. Now, David Goggins, if you haven't heard of him, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about him. He wrote a book called Can't Hurt Me. He's often been referred to as the hardest man alive. And if you've ever read the book Living with a Seal by Jesse Itzler, he was the seal that was profiled in that book. In his book Can't Hurt Me, he does detail his life in excruciating detail. He's a guy who's triumphed over abuse, poverty, racism, physical restraints. And as I say, he's become one of the toughest people alive. He's the only person ever to complete the elite training in the Navy, Army and Air Force, which makes him a Navy SEAL, Army Ranger and an Air Force Tactical Air Controller. Now, he ran his first 100-mile race with absolutely zero preparation or training, and he ended up with splintered bones in his legs. He put himself in acute kidney failure and ended up in hospital, but he did complete the race, and that alone is a pretty amazing story. Later on, he went on to set a world record for pull-ups, and he accomplished many other incredibly audacious feats of mental and physical fortitude. But what sets him apart is his really infectiously indomitable spirit. And if you ever get the chance, have a listen to his talk with Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan Experience. It's number 1080. That's episode 1080 on the Joe Rogan Experience. It's pretty impossible not to be motivated by this guy. I mean, he does swear a lot. If you don't like swearing, well, maybe don't watch him, but he is an amazing guy. So today I thought I would highlight one of his quotes. From the time you take your first breath, you become eligible to die. You also become eligible to find your greatness and become the one warrior. And I love that, from the time you take your first breath, and when you think about it, how important your breath is, that's what comes up for me. From the day you're born, the day you come into this world, you take your first breath. And that air, that breath, it stays with you for your whole life. That's how sacred breathing is. And sometimes we forget about that. Even when we're sleeping, we're breathing. Our body just takes in air. And I find that it's a miracle, really, that when you're asleep, your body is still moving, your body is still breathing. And that alone is just inspiring to me. But from the time you take your first breath, you become eligible to die. So it means you are going to die. And that goes back to the Stoics, is what he's talking about there. Memento mori. And what does that mean? It means remember you are going to die. So from the time we are born, we do become eligible to die, and we are going to die. There is nothing more certain than that. But rather than be a morbid thing to think about, it should be an inspiring thing to make you make the most of every single day. And you become eligible to find your greatness. So you're here for a reason. You're here to find your greatness. You're here to make an impact on the world. You're here to inspire other people and become the one warrior. I just find this such an inspiring quote, and it really does sum up David Goggins. There's no doubt about that. But it can also sum up you. What are you waiting for? You've taken your first breath. You're going to die one day. So go out, find your greatness. Become the one warrior. Never give up. Keep pushing forward. You have what it takes. When I think back to my 100-day challenge, when I first started that, 100 days wasn't even on the radar. It was going to be 75 days, and that was a mammoth task in itself. If I thought about it too much, I got a bit overwhelmed with it. So in the end, it just comes down to just doing one thing at a time, one day at a time. And you keep doing that, and then eventually you start thinking, wow, I'm halfway there. Wow, I'm 3/4 of the way there. You never get too ahead of yourself. You just take it one day at a time, and it becomes a habit. And once you complete that, and once you harden your mind, you then know the world is your oyster. There is nothing you cannot do. From the time you take your first breath, you become eligible to die. You also become eligible to find your greatness and become the one warrior. You can do that. Every single person can do that. So stop complaining, stop doubting yourself, take responsibility, find your purpose, and go out, take on the world, be the best you can. Thanks for listening, guys. I will leave a link to David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me, in the show notes below. Grab it. It's a fantastic book. It will change your life. The audio book is also fantastic. It's like a podcast listening to it. He comes in and makes a few comments at the end of each chapter. Fantastic book, Can't Hurt Me. Link below. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Well, I really hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you did, please subscribe and leave a review. That really does help us. And also share it with your family and friends. That would be great. And please support my sponsor, Prostate Plus. Prostate Plus supplements really can help shrink your prostate. I use them myself to great effect. The links to Prostate Plus are down below in the show notes. Thanks for listening. See you next time.